I am not Yngwie Malmsteen. I don't even pretend to be. Isn't that fun? All right. So, dudes, dudettes, people, generally speaking, if anybody watches this stuff, I don't know, I wouldn't tune in. I went on a pilgrimage this last Friday to see the great man. And, of course, it's in the title, but what great man am I speaking of? I'm talking about the one and only, and it's true, the indefatigable Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie J. Malmsteen, just in case there's any other Yngwie Malmsteens out there that we have to, disambiguate from. But I saw him. I am absolutely 100%. I've got takeaways from this. I saw the great man. I brought my daughter to see the great man. My daughter left the show. And I said to her that it is not likely. She's seen many acts out there. This is very presumptuous of me, but please go with me on this. That is technically equal to your father. And she hasn't. She actually hasn't. She's, some groups are, just guitars down to there. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing, but it's catchy. But nothing that's got like a lot of, intricacies or, something that actually requires skill, a lot of skill. Sometimes even more than a lot. God-given talent. Really, really good stuff. Yngwie's got it in spades. So, but I let her know that I knew. Kid, it's very likely that you haven't seen anything until now where you've seen the player and he lays your father to waste insofar as like dexterity, ability, capability, musicality, the gambit, the whole thing. So takeaway number one. And she was like, yeah, he was awesome. That's an understatement. He was more than awesome. Now, I am a fan of Yngwie, but I mentioned it last week that on a stylistic approach, I mean, I'm not really into Deep Purple or anything like that, but stylistically speaking, I'm a huge fan of his vibrato, his musicality, his sense of harmony and sometimes sense of melody, and definitely a fan of his technical aptitude. Because when you see the man and you see him play, there isn't a difference between the two. The lines are not even there to blur. It is a unit, a singular unit. And this is something that I've spoken about, and this is takeaway number one, that I've spoken about before in my guitar philosophy somewhat rant that I brought out a while ago, which was on mono, weirdly. I don't know about that, but I might have to revisit this a little bit to give people examples of what I'm talking about when I say that this kind of thing is achievable. And I haven't achieved it. I'm still working on it, but you get better over time. But what I'm talking about is a seamless integration between man, woman, whatever you want, and this thing to where when you, like the Bruce Lee philosophy thing, where it's time to hit, the fist hits all by itself. It just does it. So it's a completely integrated unit. That thought and emotion are one you don't think, you feel. You just do. And that is exactly what I saw. For 2 hours, there was no opening act on Friday. That's takeaway number one. That he is an integrated unit. That it all happens on automatic. All the deep thought and training that went into it has made him what he's become. And I was not disappointed at all. He was monumental and is a force that needs to have respect. I mean, you may not like, it's kind of like the nuclear weapons. You may not like the fact that they exist. You may not like the fact that they're there or were ever used, but you have to respect the fact that they're there and they're very powerful. I mean, and you probably have to respect the scientists for being able to be so creative in coming up with such a thing. The engineering that went into the development of it. Whether or not you like the fact that they exist, the fact that they exist is an achievement. Yngwie is an achievement. Okay, so I'm going to do a little screen sharing here. So as you can see, we have Yngwie here. Yngwie Malmsteen. One word, Yngwie Malmsteen. Wage War is 2 words. Devil Wears Prada 2. Well, Devil Wears Prada 2. 22. Or maybe that's 1122. Probably. And followed by the Little River Band, where Yngwie Malmsteen is 1 word. That's not a takeaway, that's a thing. Now, this was as we first got in line. We were standing in the middle of the street. The line was moved over to this side over here of the building. Let's go ahead and enlarge this. The line was moved over here to this side of the building. And not more than a couple of minutes later, and this is kind of neat, we had a fire department show up. Not a fire department, it's like 3 fire trucks, some aid cars, the EMTs, and that kind of stuff. I mean, really, like, maybe Yngwie had a heart attack. Or, is the place on fire? Are they going to cancel the show? What's going on? Maybe it's a surprise inspection. All right, so what we found out later was that there was a smoke machine incident. Well, what does that mean? I have a picture after we got inside. And actually, I have something to show everybody too, but I'll have to go fetch it. Along with fetching my tea, so we're going to probably hold for a second while I play some hold music. But this is not the... I have no idea who this is, but what you're seeing in here is a room that was... Actually, the photo came out pretty good. It is filled with smoke. Hi there, kitty boy. I got my hopper right here, back of his head, showing up for the whole world. And there's his tail, big long tail. Kitty boy. There's my little man. All right, well, at any rate, so that's what we saw when we got inside. And I got a shirt. A few of you who already know me and watch this on the regular know the shirt. There's the stage. And that, as it turns out, wasn't our seats, but I'll tell you all about that in a second. So let me go fetch the shirt. Oh, and yes, this is all upside down. There we go. So this, a little bit of bleach and a template. You too can make your own Halloween shirts. All right. Hold the fort, everyone. If I'm not here when I get back, then call the police. Yeah, something like that. Let me play a little background music for you, just to, make it interesting. Musical, jazz. And this is a little song from a guy named Terry Garland. He didn't write it, but he covered it. I don't remember who did the original, so sorry about that. A little tune called October. And it works pretty well. I'll be back.
Bury me on a pile of dead leaves. Just close my eyes and cover me with dead leaves. And you could toast October and a pumpkin moon. Toast me and say that I died too soon. Say that I died of October. Well, I follow the swallows wherever they fly. I ride up the chimney smoke into the sky. And when a cold wind blows, you know it's me that's passing by. And a pumpkin moon. Toast me and say that I died too soon. Say that I died of October.
Well, I'm back. Twinkie in hand, let's dispense with the Terry Garland formalities and talk about the t-shirt. Everybody should know this t-shirt. It is apparently the best-selling t-shirt that they have. Pardon me with the Twinkie. You know, these used to be bigger. Although I do think that they've upped the sizes just a little bit. But they used to be larger. And I know this because I am smaller than I was back in the day. I mean, you know, my ears grow, my nose grows, stuff like that. But, and here's where the crux of the matter is. These used to take me 3 bites to down. Now they take 2. Same size bites. Oh. Shrinkflation's been going on since they reopened the Hostess factory. Ingve who? Ahem. Now, if that's not a shirt, a general advertisement for the average Joe, I don't know what is. Pretty spectacular, if you ask me. All right. See if my tubes have warmed up a little bit. So, I mean, I know I'm a little late tonight. A little bit. But generally, you know, I'm home a little bit earlier than 6. And I give my tubes a chance to warm up for like an hour before I do anything. Get some practice in. But not today. Not even close to being warmed up. I'm sure the Twinkie stuff is not helping on the fingers much. All right, so, as I was saying, here's the setup. Let's do a little bit of a dive in, shall we? Oh, before I do, give me 2 shakes here, ladles and jelly spoons. Here's something that I want to address very quickly. Has nothing to do with you guys, but I want to see a thing. What's that? As a cat owner, they definitely... Oh, well, let's read a thing from a person. I just got a notification here. So, as a cat owner, this is Gavin Lamp, 5426, commenting on the Addy video, which I'm going to talk about, too, in a second. They definitely know when you're busy and try to focus on something. Paying bills on the phone? No, pet me. On the computer? No, play with me. Trying to change... Yeah. So this person understands. And that was the whole thing with the Addy video. Is that lately she's been extra clingy, and that's fine. She's like 5, and she's just been my girl for the last 5. She's great. 5 years of that cat. But you know, she used to come in, and then after a while, Hopper kind of took over the lap business. And then she's been coming back in recently. And just, you know, nope, I'm here to be held, and she'll just stand here and look at me and then get right on my lap, and no matter what I'm doing, it's time to hold Addie. So, and that's great. That's just great. I love her to death. She's so great. Let's see. YouTube Studio. I just want to check something. So 943 is the subscriber count. I am shocked again that it ever even got over 100. So, you know, wow. Very kind of y'all. So let's talk about the Ingve thing just a little more. And for each one of you that are out there that are paying attention to this, if you can get 5 people to sign up, my Christmas wish of 1,000 subs will have come true. So, at least math, I think, checks out on that. So, bless you guys' heart. They don't even have to watch anything. Just get the subs. All right. So, back to Ingve. So, as you can see here, what we have, and I don't know if I'm pointing to the right place on the computer screen. Let me take a look at that. Let me take a look-see. Yeah, okay. So, I'm not. So, I'm going to have to go like this and pretend it's the opposite screen I'm pointing at. So, all right, great. So, over here, right there. You can see this wall of Marshalls. And again, this is an evening with Ingve. It's not billed as such, but it is. You've got Ingve here. You've got Ingve there. You've got smoke machines here and there and all over the place. You had a bunch of people in the front row after a little while. This is pretty early on. That were basically hovering over his pedal board taking photos. Now, I was not one of those people because I was up in the balcony. But the second balcony... But I do know that those photos exist and are probably floating around on social media. Now, I do know also that he has a Moog unit over here. It's a foot-powered keyboard. I know this because he was using it during his solo, and he still has his Boss Delay unit over here, along with, it could even be an Echoplex as far as I know, but along with probably an assortment of other pedals. We've got, as far as I counted, 9 Marshalls that were on, possibly 12, depending on what you're counting and how you're counting, but there were only 2 that had cables coming out of them. And this, as you can tell, is not directly on the cabinet as far as like mine is, but you know, it's just above the filter cap, and it looks like a ribbon mic. I don't know if it was ribbon mic. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm taking guesses. I do know that he had 5 strats at least, and that his guitar tech was taking about 5 or 6 minutes to tune up each one. And Yngwie was not happy with the first one. It went right back. So this is where we thought we were. As it turns out, the rows have letters associated with them. That's where we wound up. Row P. That's not exactly correct. But let's get this on just a little bit here. And I think you guys might want to be sitting down for this, because this is how it started. First of all, and before we get into this video, it is the loudest show I've ever attended in my life, bar none. I have attended many shows. Sepultura was incredibly loud. Fear Factory had about the same volume but different frequencies, where the bass drum resonated in my chest, like hit here, resonated for a little bit, and then exited the back. That's what it felt like. When Sepultura was just in loud. No earplugs, just loud. Metallica, when I was 15. The 1989 Seattle show was probably louder than that. And, you know, that was the Seattle Center Coliseum. And it was unfathomably loud. My ears rang for at least 3 days after that. I'd never experienced volumes like that before, for that long. It was just unbearable. I mean, I'd seen not Yngwie, I have now, but I saw Ozzy before, and that was pretty loud. My ears only rang for a day or so. 3 days with Metallica. Now I'm old now, and I actually have pretty decent hearing for an old guy. I don't have much low end, but I've got a lot of high end. And I did wear earplugs for most of this. However, when it started, I wasn't wearing it, and you know, the first couple of notes, it's like, dang. So I actually have a video that I could I'd like to show from band practice, from something that's an uncontrolled thing. I call it Mind Your Volume, Kids. And that's kind of where I was going to be heading toward here. And then I distracted myself. Like I do. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Yikes. Yes. Mind Your Volume is another thing there. So this is 4 seconds long. Let's take a look at this. Yikes. This is not up for public consumption, but it should probably be. So here, take a look at this. And this is what it sounds like when you have an uncontrolled volume thing and people go running. Okay, that was quiet compared to Yngwie. And really, that was abysmally loud. Tim, if you're out there, I'm sure you remember that occasion. So, yeah, so Yikes was it. Yngwie came out and started just doing a couple of little, like, making sure it was plugged in, volume came up, and you heard, and it was like, dang! Just like a bomb went off. It was amazing. And then he started playing. Why are we... Here we are. And yes, that woo was yours truly. See, that's just outstanding right then and there. You know, the guy's been playing for like 60 years. I mean, he's 61, so he didn't start when he was 1, but, you know, still. Just unbelievably good stuff. Let's continue a little bit, shall we? Then they go into... yeah, it's just... I was very happy about that.
Rising Force.
Yeah, Rising Force. I knew it from, like, note 1. I was also making bets with my kid as to what his first one would be. So it's one of 3. He happened to play all 3. And he ended the show with Black Star, by the way. So that's... Now, I apologize profusely about the camera angle. I was so excited I wasn't even thinking about filming. But if we pause here, there he was. There he is right there. He does do a fair bit of singing during the show. For the high stuff, the old-fashioned singer, the keyboardist takes it. Yeah, this is what got the fire department called. Not during the show, though. They maintained pretty well at that point. So, audio is not the best quality of cell phone, for crying out loud. And, it's way back up. The sound is essentially being funneled up to where we were and kind of being collected around us, although there was a lot of sound dampening material nearby. So let's talk a little bit. He was definitely not happy with his first guitar setup. He barely touched, here, it's almost all like... Whatever, I learned it a long time ago. Maybe it's... I don't know. I haven't touched that since I was probably 16. And did I ever get the whole... Arguably, no. But, you get the general idea. But, back to it, I suppose. But I'm going to skip around with this because it's kind of irrelevant. And it's like I'm watching him with a newborn's eyes. I mean, I've seen live footage all over the place, but to actually see this thing, do what he does as you know him to do it in person. He's lost a ton of weight. It's almost like he's 20 years younger. He obviously didn't want the donut. There was a lot of people there, good fans, happy people that did not, that most of them were familiar with the story that we got to talk to. I don't know. What I'm telling you, though, is that, there are takeaways from this. Takeaway one, I've already mentioned, was that he is a singular unit. Yngwie Malmsteen is not a guitarist. He's not a guitar player. He and the guitar are a single unit. This is just an outgrowth of his expression. They are melded into a solid thing, a one thing. Yngwie Malmsteen is equivalent to guitar. That's just who he is. That's what he is. And, the guitar world and community owes him a great debt of gratitude to show us what you can do on an instrument. So, when you really devote yourself, when you push yourself, when you are that unified with it, it's quite outstanding. All right, so second takeaway is that I am not even a speck in the universe in comparison to that gentleman. I mean, I'm a guitar player. Yeah. Am I one with my instrument like that? No. I've seen what it looks like now. I'm not that. I haven't been that. It makes me think that I should have been practicing a whole lot more. I've wasted, I think, the last 36 years practicing only some of the time. What I should have been doing is practicing all the time. And what's this with a day job where I'm not practicing all day long? Well, crap. I don't know about that. I got to do something about that. Maybe retirement or something. But in the meantime, these kind of... it's nowhere near good enough. I've got to do it more. So, yeah. So, going on with the story, my takeaway, number 2, is that there is a sense in me now of urgency to... What's going on out in the living room? Anyway, there's a sense of urgency for me to play more and for me to play better and to take it more seriously. So, I don't know, it's just seeing something like this, it's oddly, like I was saying, cathartic, kind of life-changing. I weirdly don't understand it, but that's like serious takeaway number 2. Takeaway number 1, Yngwie is a force. He's not he's like the Fury, he's a hurricane. You either, leave town or board up and try to ride it out, but it's coming, and that's the end of that. So, it's that type of a thing. And then 2, I am nothing compared to the maestro, which they called him the maestro several times, and I will call him the master. Oh my God. I've seen Satriani live. It wasn't like this. Satriani was great. But it wasn't like this. There's a difference here, which is takeaway number 3, and I'm just going to go ahead and get to that now. And it rides off of takeaway number 2. I am not Yngwie. I know I'm not. I know I'm not in many ways. I'm influenced by him in several ways. Yeah, of course. But I'm not him. And just in the same way that Yngwie is a single unit, 100% himself, expressing himself on the instrument as him, Joe Satriani is not expected to express himself as Yngwie. I shouldn't expect myself to express myself as Yngwie, or Joe Satriani for that matter. So that kind of was me driving home, noggining, thinking about it. And the tune that I've been working on with the, and that part in the middle where he does the, now I can do, and it's not perfect, I do that one a whole lot better, but that's not really who I am. Oh, hi! How you doing? I don't know how much of the show you caught, but I've talked an awful lot about Yngwie tonight. So, so I realized, though, that this is not who I am doing this. I am the sweeper. That's who I am. And so I'm going to cover Joe in November, by the way. That's going to come out then. But I'm going to go ahead and do it my way. And, if people are going to be like, you can't do it like Joe. No, I really can't. But would you expect Joe to cover Yngwie and do exactly, with the, what is that? Would you expect that from Joe Satriani? No, he's not going to play it like that. If that's the notes that he was going to do, it'd be more like, he would do. He would do Joe Satriani things with it. So why expect anything like that from me? I mean, I don't know. I've kind of been doing that this whole time with the covers, trying to play it as close to the edge of correctness as possible, but I just don't know. I think that it's okay in this case to just go ahead and separate a little bit from the ideal and just be me. Is that okay? But that's the way I'm going to do it with the cover band that I'm in. It wasn't my idea to do it in the first place, just because of that monster, which I seem to be doing all right with tonight, but nevertheless, that's not the name of the song. I'll do all right tonight. That's I'll do all right. I'll see the light, of course, but all right. So a little bit. Well, those were my takeaways from the show. I've never seen anything quite like it. I've seen a lot. Well, to my satisfaction, at least. And I don't go to shows on the regular anymore. But this one was one I really didn't want to miss. And it, like I said, it kind of changed me. I wish I saw it years ago. It would have probably had me go in a completely different direction. And for a long time, too. So, at any rate, let's kind of piece it out and move along here and skip about. What's next? Oh, I don't know if I should show this, but my daughter has decided that, and she's well known for this, she can Macarena to any beats. Unfortunately, I don't have her doing much of that there, so yeah. Anyway, it was funny, and so you get your money's worth is what I'm trying to say. Everything that he played so well. So damn well. Got a lot of classics rolled in. Even played a Smoke on the Water, believe it or not. So I don't know if that's supposed to be some secret. So, but he did. Played Smoke on the Water. Oh, here's a fun one. Dude threw out like 70 guitar picks. No joke. This guy over here in the white kept trying to get him. He missed almost every single one of them. I don't know if he ever got one. Well, people around him collected them. One guy eventually stood exactly where this guy is standing. Taller fella, ponytail, caught like 3 of them. and I gotta say, he's pretty good at throwing picks. I mean, this guy tosses them like so, and they actually travel. I mean, I've thrown picks before, and it'll go like 10 feet. They're like 50 feet. They're sailing. He's got the shit down. But at any rate, so his poor guitar tech runs out, puts on a new strip of 10. He had 10 picks thrown out before the first song was over. I think that's one of the reasons why he kept playing without a pick, because he just didn't have one. He threw them all out. So anyway, this guy keeps loading them up and loading them up and loading them up and loading them up throughout the whole show. And I mean, he was trying, man. He earned his keep. So there we go. Putting on another strap there. Strap, whatever. Yngwie does the little time check in a minute. How long is it taking him? There he goes. It's hilarious. Kicks one off. Pretty good at that too. He also kicked several up onto the stage. One of them went under an amp or cabinet. It was pretty phenomenal. If anybody knows the story behind this tune, Icarus Dream Suite, he wrote it. Actually, that was based on something from, I believe, Albinoni. But he wrote it when he learned, after he moved to the States when he was 17, that his pet cat passed away pretty much on the trip. It wasn't too long after he got to the States where that happened, or when that happened. So he called his mom to say how he's doing. Yay! And so out came Icarus Dream Suite. So you'll even hear little cat meows in the beginning of it. Of course, made with instruments and whatnot. It's very sad. But that was he does it in 2 parts. He went back to it as part of the encore. It was really impressive. Played Prelude to April and everything. I was really jazzed up. But he did this as kind of part of a medley. Far Beyond the Sun. Yes, I said wow. I was impressed. I was very unexpected, and I've never heard him do a lot of like real serious, pick, stuff like. I've never heard him do that, and it impressed me. I mean, I've heard a few things, but I've been a fan for years, so whoa, got a lot of lights there. So yeah, very blinding stuff. But relatively small theater, did not sell out. I'm very disappointed by that. That little hop that he was doing there, my daughter was very impressed by that. 24, if you're wondering. Yeah. Continuing on, this is unaccompanied lead. He can sing. Who'd have thought? Recapping that is his orchestral work. And then, that's one of the coolest things. He set it up there for a while and made some sounds with it. Got the delay rolling for a long time. Look, I'll knock it off, but really, 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 this was a night I will never forget. It was spectacular. If Yngwie comes to a town near you, go see him. Oh my God, go see him. If you're even close to being interested in guitar, go see the master. You won't leave the same. Even if you don't like his music, dude, pay attention to what he's doing. Have some respect. I mean, have you ever taken, I mean, if you're not into Yngwie, for instance, a music appreciation course, you should at least be able to find something in everything that has some value. I mean, there are some things that don't on a personal level. And remember, music is the only thing that I'm a relativist about. But aside from that, you know, people have their likes and dislikes and whatnot. But and there are some pieces of music, though, that I will never find value in. What they are, well, they are what they are. Mostly has to do with modern R&B and rap, but that's besides the point. No value. So aside from Yngwie, which pretty much made my week, band news, we have a new singer, new guitar player. Name's Miko. Miko is a hell of a musician. He's in a Rush cover band not too terribly long ago, and my God, he can sound exactly like Geddy Lee. Now, a lot of people don't like Geddy. I like Geddy. But, you know, it's not for everybody. It's all right. He doesn't have to sound like Geddy. He sounds like other people, too. And consequently, I also sound like other people. And so does, you know, Tim and Timmy. So, Tim just sounds like a bass player. Tim. But at any rate, I'm very excited that he's around, and as a result of that, it'll allow us to move in other directions that we were trying to move in the first place, but our original vocalist wasn't really letting us. So that's pretty great. There you go, Timmy. How you doing, man? You agree? That is good. Let me see if I can. It's one of these things, and I think he's going to be perfect for it. Is a song that is relatively simple to play, and we can cover this, I think, now a little bit, because it's not like it's super easy to play. It's just relatively easy to play. It is continually moving. Yeah, baby, exactly. Right on, Tim. So, at that point, when you're hitting the G, you're letting go of the chord. Then you're going down to a G chord, and this starts with an A. To an F, and this is an F6, by the way. Back to a G major. Just like... Actually, that would extend it to a 6, add 9. Isn't that interesting? So it's an F6, add 9. Wow. Pretty cool. So... and then back to G. And the thing about it is that you just keep it going as this kind of rolling again and again type of deal until you get to Seasons Don't Fear the Reaper. What is that? Seasons don't fear the reaper. Do the wind summon the rain? I can't sing, and that's why I don't. Yeah, we can be like they are, and then you're starting it from F. The Buck Dharma. Has some of the most unique phrasing and ideas. Like, for instance, the... that kind of thing. It's all, you know, crazy for that time. Because you got to think of when it was released. Mid to late 70s. Who was playing in, like, Phrygian Dominant? On popular radio in the mid-70s? No, nobody. We're talking about country rock, you know, time here. We're talking about, like, the... That was popular around that time. Devil Went Down to Georgia was popular about that time. What you weren't hearing was Phrygian dominant stuffs. This whole thing. Let's pop that back in. Nobody really did anything like that. I mean, you'd hear, minor triads here and there, but you wouldn't hear it minor triad juxtaposed with an augmented. If you wanted to do it that way, you can. I also thought, boy, that mod on that delay is doing it again. But I also had a thought about this on the way home. Oh, wait. We have a high enough singer now? I can't play today. That's the... How did that go? I'll have to figure that out again. No! You know what? Forget about it. I'm not even going to try. This is sad. This is like the disillusionment, the destruction of guitar stuffs that I used to know very well. So, let's see. I'm just going to... Nope. Screw it. We're not playing it. Because of the dancers, but no more. No more. This must be done. It must be done. I might play it that way from here on out, too. Even though I've seen video of him. And that makes sense. Although it doesn't make sense for picking. What doesn't make sense for picking? When you're doing a line... Sounds like cocaine. When you're doing a line... when you're doing a passage... and it's involving like two strings, you want to try to make the picking as self-same as possible. A good testimony to that would be Trilogy Suite. Down, 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 up, down, down, up. Yikes. But that's, that's the idea. So for this... And of course that is down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down, up. Strict alternate picking, I guess. But I won't play it wrong when we do it live. Or it doesn't have the same vibe to it, So, strict alternate. And on we go. But yeah, it leaves the door wide open. Very happy about that. Nope. Takes me a minute. Stupid dumb. Too easy, man. Too easy. But it wasn't too easy for me a little bit ago where my brain was like, nah, man, you're not going to remember how to play it. And you're not going to be able to figure it out either. All right. Well, maybe the vitamins kicked in. Maybe it's tea. Don't know. Let's figure this out together. But as the story goes, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about Saturday when we gather back together and we play the Reaper thing. And so forth. There's another one, though, that I have got to work on, because in my entire life of being alive, and my entire life as a guitar player, so that's 50 plus years, I've never learned a single song from Rush, except for a little bit of YYT, XYZ, YYT, YYZ, YYZ, blah. And that's really it. That's the extent of it. I learned just a little, Actually, it's diminished. And I had that for a little bit, and I was picking that up back in like 2018, 2019. And I was just interested in doing it, just to know how to do it, and I never did it. That's pretty much the extent of that. So my real interest was in learning how to count it. But I did learn the majority of it. I didn't learn the leads, but I learned the majority of it. And but now we're doing Working Man. And so that whole... Okay, all right, that's pretty good. I got that. I've got that whole, type of thing. Right, getting it down. Have I actually sat down to learn it? No. Have I listened to it at least once? Yeah. So, so weird. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but if I hit it, you'll hear or it's just up. It's crazy. It's good with bends though. Fun. Anyway, I don't know. On with the show, which isn't much of a show. We can talk about drivers. Drivers that generally piss me off. So I think drivers generally piss a lot of people off in a whole lot of different places, especially with highways. But when you have specific rules on the road, like when you have a traveling lane, a commuter lane, and you have a passing lane, and that the passing lane, this has nothing to do with guitar, but it is something that I'd like to talk about just a little bit today. And you have a passing lane, and the passing lane is to be used to pass the people in the other two lanes, or three lanes, or four lanes. But that's what the or leftmost lane is supposed to be used for. In Washington State, I should specify, and probably in many other states as well. Texas is one of those as well. But Washington State has this, and if you decide that you're not really passing people, well, you're what's called a lane camper. Now, that makes me upset a little bit, but what makes me upset more is not the lane camping. It's I'm going to go pretty much the speed limit next to this car, and then when I go just past that car to get to the next car, I'm going to go really fast and then just hover there. Now, am I on their ass? Am I hanging out on their tail? No. Not necessarily. It could be somebody else. But they do this with everybody because they don't, and I'm going to psychoanalyze them a little bit, because it looks to me as though they have more of a thing about controlling others than it is for them about going to where they're going. I mean, they're so bored being on the road that they have to find other ways of playing games, road games. They have to find other ways of playing games to amuse themselves in control of others. Maybe they have a lack of it in their own life. This is the only place they can find to actually do it. What they don't recognize, though, is that there's somebody like me who, I don't care how fast I have to go, state of Washington rules notwithstanding, I will pass you. It will happen. So let's say as soon as I see a 10 car length thing build up, as soon as the guy tries to hit a very reasonable speed, limit-wise, between cars, I will pass him on the right because he's not getting over. He never does. So, and I've separated a lot of the driver types into actual driver types. So you've got that. He's one of the three types of pass holes is what I just described there. Another type of pass hole is the kind that are actually passing you, and they never really do, and they headlights are always coming into your rear view mirror just to bounce into your eyes. That's a trick, by the way, is take your rear view mirrors and dip them down and slightly away from your car. So you actually have to deliberately look down a little bit, physically to see what's there. But it also shows you who's in your blind spot if you do it right. It also shows you where the lanes are, so you don't even have to use a backup camera. You can just look in your rearview mirrors and see where the lanes are when you're backing into them. It's pretty neat, parking spots wise. So, but that eliminates one type of pass hole completely. The other way to get rid of a pass hole is to pass them and stay in front of them. But I don't care how fast I have to go. I will not drive reckless endangerment wise, but I will pass you. There's no stopping that. Will happen. So anyway, I don't really like other drivers. I like people who drive like they mean to, like they didn't just find themselves in a car and go, oh, where the fuck am I going? No, I like it when you get into a car and you have a purpose to get somewhere and you actually go there. You obey the rules of the road. One of those rules is to get out of the way if you're holding people up. If you're in the passing lane and you're not passing, get the hell over. It's important. Let the people who are driving like they mean it to drive like they mean it. Allow them to. You're not the cops. You're going to get pulled over. You're going to get pulled over. It's a thing. You know what? Our GPS reports to insurance companies or third parties that buy it from the insurance that the insurance companies buy it from anyway. And our insurance rates will go up if we speed too much. It's a thing. It's just what's going to happen. So, as far as that's concerned, it's not your concern. Get out of the way. Just get out. Make life easy for all of us. Well, at any rate, that's fun. Good stuff. Working man will be sorted out. And I so that's the problem with modulation. Tuning on modulation is very difficult. Next week, by the way, be the last live stream before Halloween. Ghost stories. I have a few. Ghost stories thing is important because although if you know me pretty well and have known me for a while, you'll probably already know them. But for those of you who haven't, Julia, of which you are one, assuming you're still there, might make the back of your neck hair-wise stand up. And besides, it's in the spirit of Art Bell. I think that needs to be, sorted out and do a nice ghost-to-ghost AM sort of thing, but in more his spirit than anything else. Besides, I've got my own ghost stories. So I also have this new exercise that's f***ing me up. So I'm used to doing things like that, and I've demonstrated this in the past. Those kind of things. Okay, well, I've also done stuff like that in the past. Well, let's do a little combo. Instead of this, we'll keep that kind of thing going, but instead of it being on 2 strings, it's on 1. And if you're used to doing this type of thing, this is going to really kind of screw you up. Now, I don't know what it is about the brain that makes a person think that something that's picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like, But when you finger it differently, for some reason your brain says to your picking hand, it's not the same thing, don't do it. If I do this, and to start here, or go, mean, that is obviously different. I'm adding notes and stuff like that. Or, it's start here, which is down, up, and that's weird. But, and of course, I failed completely. You can, though, do it. Okay, so once you get used to it, that's my fingers are saying no. When I concentrate on the fingers, I'm good. But when I concentrate on the picking, nope, immediately it's gone like that. So at 50, teaching an old dog new tricks is not easy. But this is something I've considered it's worthwhile. If I can't do it physically, and there must be something wrong, I have to do it physically. Nope. And it's just, I wouldn't even necessarily consider it a picking exercise at this point because I can't really get it cooking. But I can consider it a finger independence exercise. And again, this is technically no different, except it's all on one string, which makes it weird. So, there you have it. That's something that I've kind of worked on a little bit on, I want to say Saturday evening or Sunday, between cat sitting. So another thing that I've known for a long time is this. I can thank a friend of mine, Justin, for showing me this, but because he learned it from John Patitucci's video, I can share it with you and say that this is an exercise from John Patitucci's video. And this is actually pretty easy too, and it's very similar in a way to the people do it in octaves. That is not always easy. If we're really doing octaves, though, that would be, you do it different. That way, whatever you want. And then, continue on. Oh no, octaves change, don't they? That would be definitely octaves. Actually, that would be hard. Right? So, there you go. I'm going to turn the mod off on this delay. It's killing me. There we go. No mod. Still sounds good. So, what else is new out there in TV land, y'all? Well, let's see here. I had a real hard time getting my head in the game today. Saturday I fasted. That's the thing that I've been getting into lately. And I actually dropped a good chunk of weight. Not a good chunk, but a decent chunk. I'm down to 180 now, which is fantastic. I'm taking that, man. That's wonderful. But this is coming down from the biggest I ever was last year at like 210. I've never been over 200 pounds in my life. When I found out it was like 210, I'm like, oh my God, this has got to stop. So, measures were taken and a little bit down here and there. But this whole 1 day a week fasting thing is actually pretty exemplary. Yeah, granted, by the end of the day, I'm a little on the loopy side. I love my snacks and I love, beef jerky and steak and, stuff like that. And today it's Twinkies. But they're my Twinkie quota for the day is done now. So, or is it? No, it's not. But I think the thing that really hit home is that the next morning I felt really good. unusually good. I slept for like 9 hours between, and it might be the amount of rest I got too, but I slept for like 9 hours. I slept great. And there's a moral to this story, but I slept great. I awake from fasting state Saturday night to Sunday morning, awake Sunday morning. All right, cool, feeling really, really good. And then I decided to eat. I didn't feel as good. Now, the last time I tried it, and the time before that, first bite in the morning is like, oh my God. This one was like there was really no change. I still felt good. Wasn't that great? That was all right, cool. Food is food. And, because food is love, really. You're like, I'm a foodie guy. I like food. But so food apparently is just food. My body was like, yeah, man, it's just food. You're good. You're okay. You don't have to eat. You're all right. And so I didn't eat that much yesterday, but I did have a little bit of food throughout the day. And I had some chili, not a lot, a couple hours before bed. I slept like shit last night. I mean, horribly. I woke up like 5 or 6 times. First time was like midnight, and I'm like, I am exhausted. I hope it's not, 5 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, I know I'm going to be getting up any second now. It wouldn't be worth going back to sleep. It wasn't. It was midnight, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 6. And then that's when my first alarm went. 6, nope. 6:30, nope. 7, all right, I have to get up. I got to get up. So I got up, and I had a little grapefruit this morning. That helped, but I haven't been, I'm not kicking on all cylinders today. If I'm normally a turbocharged or twin turbo V6, today I'm like, maybe I need to change out at least 2 spark plugs. It's not happening. And it hasn't been. And I think, disrupting sleep has a lot to do with it. But I'll tell you what, yesterday, I wish I streamed yesterday morning. I was really playing well yesterday morning. So. But you can't always get what you want. Oh, yeah, we were talking about music that has no value. I really don't like much 90s music either. what's interesting about that? So there's this thing about the blue notes, and blue notes, typically blues, like a flat 5, right, on the minor. So that flat 5 and the third, major third, typically will never meet. I mean, they can, like, what? You hear that? You hear that? Sure, but never really, more than that. Especially kind of like this, because you can look at it a couple of different ways, and this is how I'm kind of, massaging this into our conversation here. Is that this? Let's say you'll hear that on occasion. I mean, not like that directly, but more like that. But this, if you play it as a flat 5, which really wouldn't be there. I don't even know where I'm at right now. I don't even know where I'm at again. That's where I'm at. Okay. If I let my fingers walk and stop thinking about it, I'll be better at it. Lessons to learn in there somewhere. But this, if we look at it this way, it's like a D. It does not, of course, fit. This is D minor blues over an A minor or an E minor blues with a third that's raised, which is the natural third. Really, it's not a raised third. It wouldn't be like raising the 7th, which is a flat 7, right, to a natural 7, and like that to go back home, for instance. But this doesn't really work, but it's weird that it kind of does. We got a kitten that's wanting some food out there. It's very hungry. You can tell by the very high about there. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Says it wants food. My wife shouldn't be getting home for another couple of hours. She would have fed them before she left. The thing. So these cats are between a 2 and 3 hour feeding. So they're that young. They're bottle babies, teeny tinies, fit in your hand, just tiny little guys. But yeah, he's definitely not happy. Whatever's going on out there. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. I know it's a little on the early side, but rest at some point in the world is going to call me, and I'm going to go check on these babies. But it's been a good stream, most part. Anybody who missed the beginning, please go back and check it out, especially if you want my recap on Yngwie and my takes from it. Yngwie who? Well, it's on the back of the shirt. Oh, yeah, that one. He is not happy. All right. Well, good night, everybody. See you next Monday for a ghostly stream.